Right, you may have noticed Pride looks a bit different this year, and you can cite Donald Trump's return to the White House. With the president's executive order against diversity, equity and inclusion programs, many corporations are cutting their programs and pulling back on sponsoring Pride events. New York City Pride has launched what it's calling a community fundraising campaign to make up a $750,000 budget shortfall. And take a look at this survey from the Pew Research Center. Earlier this year, they asked people why they think corporations promote Pride. And as you see there, 68% of LGBTQ people surveyed said these businesses think it will help them, and 54% of non-LGBTQ people said the same. But take a look at this. Only 16% of LGBTQ adults believe corporations promote Pride because they have a genuine desire to celebrate the community. That compared to 13% of non-LGBTQ adults. Let's bring in Adrianne Pasquarelli now. She's a senior reporter for Ad Age who covers marketing in retail and finance. Great to have you with us this morning, Adrianne. So how widespread are these changes in the retail sector? And is it just about rainbow logos, or are there more noticeable differences out there this year?
Well, the Pride marketing is very, very quiet this year. It's really quite sparse, and that reflects, as you said, this overall trend about this fear of brands doing anything diversity related these days. Brands are afraid of backlash from conservative consumers. They're also afraid of retribution from the current administration in Washington. One big brand that had previously been very vocal as a champion of Pride initiatives in the past, they told me that they are still engaged. They're still sponsoring some parades and things like that, but they're not willing to speak about it on the record because of this fear of broad backlash. And I think that's the sentiment across the board.
And as we saw from that survey, though, if companies are trying to genuinely communicate to customers that they do care about these type of inclusion policies, how are those, or which companies, I'm wondering, are actually leaning into this despite the resistance from the current administration?
Well, we are seeing a couple brands such as Sephora, American Eagle, and Levi's, and they're doing some marketing and Pride-related collections, and they're not being as quiet about it as other brands. They're posting about it on social media. They're emailing some of their consumers. Sephora has a campaign with Lady Gaga, and I think this speaks to their target consumer. American Eagle, for example, their target is teens, and teens have said that they support Pride marketing and diversity initiatives.
And we have seen in places like Target experience business declines because of their pullback of DEI and efforts to boycott them. And I know that as we referenced this survey in the intro, we know that there's a sentiment of many consumers not taking this stuff seriously or not believing that corporations really are doing this out of the goodness of their heart. Well, why do you think there is that suspicion when it comes to companies trying to support Pride?
Well, I think this overall pullback that we're seeing really shows that those companies that had Pride initiatives in the past, they were really just rainbow washing. I mean, we're hearing that term quite a bit. And it shows that maybe those companies that were promoting Pride were not so genuine about that support. It's not actually there in their mission.
All right, Adrianne Pasquarelli, great to speak to you about this. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.